Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Today I'm going to show you how to make a bladed single hook for lures. Okay, now let's take this off a little bit before we start. Let me show you this. So when you're trolling or casting this, when it swims, what happens is that the hooks actually stay like that. Okay, this is it goes like that. Now while that is okay, you tend to miss strikes, especially when they short strike, because the body is actually kind of shielding it and the hooks going like that at an angle. Okay, a good way is if we could kind of straighten it while we're trolling or casting, when we're retrieving, all that. But it's kind of difficult to do that on its own. On trebles, it's also the same. You know, it hangs out a bit. You could actually watch a lot of YouTube videos that show you that it's just something that has to do with the hooks. And it has nothing to do with the lure. It has a lot to do with the hooks, because the hooks would naturally sit where it's the heaviest, and where it's heaviest is actually the bend. That's the heaviest part, so it will sit like that. Okay, but if you introduce something that pulls from the back, it'll straighten up. Exactly what this thing accomplishes. So I believe there's some videos of similar videos of this online. I think most of the time they do this for soft plastics, but we're actually doing it for plugs. Okay, so we will be using Owner ST125, and the biggest thing about the ST125, which is why I'm choosing this hook, is because if you look closely, I'm gonna zoom in here. Okay, if you look closely, the bend, the bend is going like that. And what we want to do, the line of pull we're gonna be doing for the wire is on the bottom here, and you don't want it to actually pop. There are some hook manufacturers where they have that bend over like that here at the back. Okay, so if you do that, if you have that, chances are it'll pull on the thing there, the gap, and we don't want to do that. So what we want to do is to secure the wire that we're gonna put on from the top right here. Okay, so that's why it is this hook. The gap's not there. Okay, that's one. All right, it's also an overall really good hook. It's thinner than what you see for the equivalents, and it's quite strong. We'll be using what is this? It's actually 124-pound wire. I'm using this because it's visible on video, much more visible on video than the other. So let me zoom in so that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. All right, so it shows up better on video. If I was going to do this out of video, which I have, I use thinner ones because they're just easier to work with. Plus, you don't need a lot of strength for that particular thing there. Okay, the very first thing is we cut the wire, a small section of wire, and the very first thing you do is actually make a wire eye loop, and this is for your swivel. Okay, you want to make this loop as small as possible. So if you want to see how this is done, I actually have a video of me making and using this wire eye tool, which fell right. Okay, so we need to make a wire eye for the swivel, and we want to make it as small as possible. So the best way to do that is to form your eye, and then with a pair of pliers coax it to be in the size that you want. So I'm doing it that small right there. Okay, then we take our swivel. It'll be just easier to do this if you do the eye first, and then later on you do the other bits. It's just easier, so I tend to do this way ahead. Okay, now I will adjust the eye to be a bit smaller. Now, unlike the previous video where we're using willow leaf blades, we are going to be using Colorado blades, which actually give you, this is size 0 as you can see. Okay, size 0 blades, because they actually give you the most resistance as far as the blade type is concerned. So you want that to be the blade to use, because it'll give you a lot of resistance, and the resistance is actually what you need to keep the hook straight. Now from there, all we have to do is just form an eye, okay? And this is all I'm doing right here. If you want to see how this is made, again, I'll link the video. Okay, so just like that, easy peasy. And the reason why you want to do this is because you want the length to be quite precise. Okay, you want this to sit just at the back right there. We have to straighten it out just a tad bit, just to line it up. Okay, just like that. Okay, you want it like that, just like that. This one is a bit long. Okay, so we're gonna do this better. Okay, so now what we want to do is actually just make a bend on the wire right here, where it is just like that, and you can see yeah, about there's fine, just like that. Let's take our wire eye tool and then create the loop, and you want the loop to be just like that. Now the thing that you want to do here is to make sure that this is at the center, or as centered as possible. So what you want to do is actually do one bend with the wire eye tool like that, so it's kind of an R. As you can see, it's centered, and then take a pair of pliers and just bend it like that. So this is perfectly centered, and the other is just going to be kind of flat, and that's perfectly. I'm going to make this as perfect as possible here before putting it on. There we go. So it'll go like that. Now once you put it on, you'll see that one is centered, one is just pretty straight, and that's what you want. Okay, now what you do is just cut so that it covers the line, or the excess wire is just long enough so you can bind it, and it will be a solid connection. So it doesn't have to be too long, just like that is fine. Okay, now I am using braid for this. All I do is just wrap that like so, bend it down a bit, as you can see there. There we go. That's it. Okay, now just a bit of cleaning. So we bind it, make sure that's perfectly centered like so, make it as clean as possible, of course, like that. Okay, and then secure it. Go. If you see some fluff there, all you have to do is just get a lighter, okay, and then boom, it's gone, clean. Okay, now that thing's gonna hold really well, but if you add super glue, it just becomes rock solid, and that's all I put. Super glue, that's it. And you don't need a lot, you just need to have the wraps protected, okay, and it also keeps it from moving around. I don't need to put epoxy, or I don't put epoxy or any other type of glue there. It's just as it is, just as long as the super glue is there, it's going to be very protected. There we go. Now, there's going to be a few adjustments just before the glue dries. What I want to do is to keep that perfectly straight right there. So just get a pair of pliers. Needle nose pliers would be better for this. And just twist it a little bit, just a tad bit, so it's straight, and then that's it. Okay, all we need to do then is put in our split ring and our blade, and we're pretty much done. It's quite simple. Again, just like the treble, it's actually quite fast to do. If I wasn't explaining, I think I could knock this off real quick. Probably 3 minutes, or if I have all the materials in front of me. Okay, and that's with bad eyesight and everything. I think this is something very useful. It also not only straightens your hook, but it also gives it that little flash at the very end that could get you a few strikes. Very simple to make, and something to have your offering a little bit of extra oomph to it. And sometimes, you know, it might just be the one thing that will trigger strikes. That little extra vibration or flash that this puts out, because of the type of blade it does have some vibration. It's not like the willow leaf that it's pretty much mostly flash. Boom. And just like that, very easy and quite useful. All right, so there we go. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do all sorts of tips and tricks videos for everyone on YouTube, and we cover everything from ultralight, big game, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. Now for you guys who have subscribed, thank you very much for the support. In the meantime, I shall see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.